Hey everybody, welcome back to the Getting It Wrong podcast, where we unlearn harmful ideals, beliefs, and ideologies that we might be holding on to, and we get practical ways to live a more holistic and balanced lifestyle. And we embrace our mistakes here because getting it wrong is the first step to getting it right. I am your co-host, Gabby.
And I'm Morgan. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back. Yes. Happy Monday. Even
Happy
though Monday's
Monday.
raggedy, we're here to make your Monday unraggedy. So that's what we do. Yeah, let's brighten up your Monday.
That's what we do.
Yeah, girl. So how was your week? How was last week for you, Gabby?
My week. Last week. Why can't I remember last week? Do I do this every week? I can never remember. It probably went smooth. Oh, I remember now. So Nia had a spelling bee last week.
Aw.
She did. And she did so well. She got third place. But it's so funny because they practiced. I talked to her teacher, and she said they practiced twice in the classroom before they went out. And Nia won both times in the classroom. But when they got out there, like she misspelled a word that she got right both times in the classroom.
Aww.
We were like, she was probably just nervous, but she got third place. She's super proud. I'm super proud. And she got a little trophy. And I went to the same school that she went to, that she's going to. And I have a second place trophy from the spelling bee when I was in her
putting a
same...
picture up. We're putting a picture up.
So I took a picture with like our trophies next to each other. Super cute.
That is a moment.
A moment.
Aw, that's so cute. What an achievement for her. Aw, for both of you.
She's
I know you
super
were
happy. Oh, yes.
I love it.
Proud of my baby. What about you? How was your week?
My week does not compare. It was productive. I didn't do anything crazy. I just was getting like important stuff done, like making doctor's appointments and stuff like that. So it was
much
productive.
Needed.
Yeah, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
But I need to make a doctor's appointment. It's so hard to find a primary care physician out here. I'm kind of over it. I'm just like, maybe I can. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm like, maybe I'll just be okay with that one. That's what I think sometimes. But no, I'll find one eventually.
Yeah. Ideally, we'd have them out here. But yeah, girl. But yeah, speaking of doctors, so we can go ahead and get into our hot topic. It's a lot going on right now. So for starters, there was a TikTok and there was a practitioner and he like stitched another practitioner and basically just saying that there should be pain or specifically anesthesia for gynecological procedures, including things like IUDs and like the placement and of IUDs. They have like cervical biopsies, no anesthesia. People just suffer through it. But I'll put a stitch up of what he said.
Isn't there anesthesia or sedation for gynecological procedures like having an IUD placed or a colposcopy, things that happen in an outpatient clinic? So in gynecology and in OB, and I'm not in that world a whole lot, but from my experience, it seems like unless you're actively in labor, your pain as a woman doesn't really get a lot of attention. It doesn't get the treatment that it deserves. I don't know why that is. I believe that it's likely due to patriarchy and misogyny in medicine that is still pervasive today. But I wonder if anybody else could comment in the medical community here about why these procedures, when women have pain, why we just kind of shrug. Why aren't we doing more for this?
So yeah, guys.
That's crazy though.
Yeah. That's wild that people like women are just like really suffering through these types of procedures, and there's no pain medication. And I actually was like looking at the comments. There were women in the comments like, yes, and like multiple women saying like, I went through this and it was extremely painful. I'll read a couple of them real quick. Okay, so Rose's 3 petals, she said, I had my cervix biopsied. I thought someone cut off the tip of my pinky. It was the worst pain. I've had 3 natural births, cancer, and surgery. So for her to like, in comparison, for her to say that's like the worst pain, that's crazy, right?
What?
And there's no pain medicine? Girl. I'll read another.
Have you ever
one.
had that? What is a cervical biopsy and why would you need one?
I don't know.
To see if you can give birth?
I want to say they're removing a piece of the cervix. I can look it up, but I want to say they're removing a piece of the cervix in relation to cancerous cells. That's my guess.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
I mean, that makes sense.
Which sounds absolutely awful.
It does. And I just can't imagine. I mean, I guess I can imagine because I am a woman and I have gone through certain procedures. But it's just like, why is it standard practice to not give women pain relief from pain?
Exactly. Specifically,
why is it standard practice for us to go through pain when it comes to our vaginas or our wombs or, whatever procedures that are specifically for women,
Yeah. Why is it downplayed? Why is it ignored? Why is it gaslit? Like, oh, and by the way, that is right. It says a cervical biopsy is a procedure to remove tissue from the cervix to test for abnormal or precancerous conditions or cervical cancer. Got it. So removing a piece of it, she said it felt like her pinky was removed. That's wild. That's just, it sounds absolutely awful.
Absolutely.
There was another person. She said, my husband had a vasectomy and I had zero compassion for him. The doctors loaded him up for pain. So they're getting pain medicine for their stuff, but we're over here just suffering.
And then so a vasectomy. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. I was just saying that a vasectomy is not super invasive, I don't think. Well, at least it's not as invasive as a hysterectomy. Do women get pain medication for hysterectomies?
I feel like you have to. There's no way.
There's no way.
Let me see, because the like a hysterectomy that there's no way.
Isn't that's the hysterectomy is like science talk for getting your tubes tied, right?
No.
Okay, I just made it up.
Okay, no, it's surgical. Okay, hysterectomy is the surgical removal of the uterus. Okay, that's way
similar.
Different.
Yeah, but it's for the same purpose, right? Well, I guess people get hysterectomies for different reasons.
Yes, girl. Yeah, so either way it goes, like women are like countless women are just like recounting their stories saying like this was very painful. Women getting IUDs saying that they passed out, they had to be one person said my pain with IUD insertion was exaggerated because it's just a pinch. The MD refused further care and I ended up in the ER 2 hours after with a perforated uterus. That sounds awful.
And they basically ignored her pain.
Exactly. And there are multiple people saying something similar. So yeah, it's just the fact that, it's not being treated in the same way that other procedures would be treated as, especially if women are stating that, this is very painful. Now, you do hear practitioners saying things like, there aren't very many nerve endings on the cervix. But if it hurts, it hurts. And if there's multiple, if there are multiple people, countless women saying that it's painful, I think you should believe us. But I mean,
Right?
I think, is there not enough research? It just makes me want to ask questions like, could there be more research involved? Or you could just take our words for it. I mean, we are the same people that have children, which is off the
Right.
charts type of pain. We are the same ones that get monthly menstrual cramps, you know? You would think, I mean, you would think that for a group of people to endure so much pain and for them to say something is painful, you would consider like maybe if they have a high tolerance of pain and they're saying this is painful, maybe we should think about this a little further at the least.
Right. Why not try to alleviate some of that pain, But apparently we're asking for too much.
Exactly. Girl,
but
it's a mess.
Super, and it's so common. Like, it's so common. And I don't know if you want to share a story, because I know you got an IUD. I don't know. Girl. You didn't have the best experience.
Yeah, this is true. And I kept telling myself, I'm being dramatic, but it is really painful, especially if you are already anxious. So like a few weeks ago, I actually did just get my IUD, which is like a form of birth control. I got it, like my old one removed. And then I got a new one placed, and it was not fun. Like afterwards, I felt like really flushed. Like my body did go into like fight or flight to the point where, I felt weak. My blood pressure was dropping a little bit, not a whole lot, but enough for it to make an impact on how I felt. So yeah, it's not fun. Like if they have the option of using anesthesia, I would have taken it. And this is coming from someone also, by the way, I had a natural birth. Like I had my daughter without pain meds, not a Tylenol, not a epidural. And not to toot my own horn, by the way, because there's plenty of people that wanted but didn't get the chance to do that. But I'm just saying, like, I know what pain feels like. I can get through it. And that was still really painful, So, girl, it would have been nice.
Yeah.
I was asking, so you can't put me to sleep, or there's nothing we can do. And while my OBGYN, she was super nice. She like talked me through it, super caring. She, it's not approved. She's like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's not something I'm approved for. And I feel like if she could have, she would have, but it's not an option that they give them. And why?
So what's the real question? Should OBGYNs be approved to offer some type of anesthetic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make the process much more enjoyable. Not, of course, not as painful. Because I know when I go to the dentist, they offer anesthesia left and right.
That's crazy, though. You would think, like, if the dentist can do it, why am I getting pieces of my, why are people getting tissue removed from their cervix and they can't get anesthesia or some type of, they're like, you don't get anything. You don't get a Tylenol before, you don't get, I mean, if you want to take it before you go in, fine, but like, you don't get
you don't get anything.
Yeah, you're just expected to suffer through it. And people in the comments were saying things like their doctor would say it's just a pinch, it's just going to be some pressure. There was one specific instance. It's the gaslighting for me. There was one instance where they were like, the doctor said, no, there aren't any nerve endings there. I'm sure it doesn't hurt. Like, she said it hurt though.
Like,
it's the audacity. It's like, come on.
Like, have you ever gotten this done? Like, do you know?
Girl.
So if I say I hurt, it doesn't mean anything because you're a doctor and you feel like it shouldn't. So it's
Really?
awful.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no explanation. There's no excuse. Really.
So I think we've gotten the real question. Why are OBGYNs not given the proper training or given the opportunity to give anesthesia to their clients, their patients?
Yeah. And I think also there needs to be more research, because for all of these women to be saying something is painful and your explanation is, I can't give you pain medicine, there aren't very many nerve endings there, so it shouldn't hurt. Well, it does, you know? So maybe there should be more research involved.
Right. Since we're talking about women and their bodies, that leads us to our wellness segment for today. Well, we were actually going to talk about something totally different, but with everything that's going on, we decided to talk a little bit about the Roe versus Wade case and how the Supreme Court is, and I'm not saying that they're like overturning that ruling, because I don't know if that's 100% true, but there was a leaked document that kind of alluded to that being a possibility. So before I get into that, I wanted to give a little history, because honestly, if anyone asked me, what's the Roe versus Wade case before any of this happened, I would be like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, since I was able to use context clues, but just in case anyone, but just in case anyone is still a little bit confused, I'm going to give a little bit of history. So the Roe versus Wade case, it's the iconic Supreme Court case ruling that ruled that the Constitution protects a woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restrictions. It struck down a lot of U.S. Federal abortion laws. And I'm a little nosy, so I was like, who is Roe and who is Wade? So it turns out that Roe is actually this woman named Norma McCorvey. So Jane Roe was like her legal pseudonym. I guess it was like such a high profile case, you know, they had to give him a fake name. And she became pregnant in 1969 with her third child. And she said, oh no, not today. And she lived in Texas, where abortion was illegal unless it was necessary to save the mother's life. And I thought that was very, very interesting, because a lot of abortions are done to women who already have children.
Interesting.
And yeah, and it got me thinking, because I'm like, and this was 1969, totally different than 2022. This was a time where like birth control wasn't like as widespread as it is now. Like you didn't have easy access to it. Like if you wanted to do like with your husband or someone else, like a baby was probably going to happen. So she didn't want the baby. So her attorneys filed a lawsuit on her behalf in the U.S. federal court against, was it the state of Texas? I believe it was the state of Texas. And the district attorney, that's who Wade was.
Okay.
Yeah. Wade was the district attorney for Texas. Yeah. And so her lawyers filed a lawsuit against Texas.
Oh. I'm just thinking like real quick, like time frame wise, this had to either, like, for the way, you know, the way court cases, like they take forever. I'm like, dang, by the time she finished the court, did she have the baby?
Did she have the baby?
Because you only have so much time, you know, to figure it out. This couldn't have been a matter of, did she go out of state? Like what? Questions, but I'll let you go ahead.
No, that's a great question. I feel like we have to
figure this out before we end the episode.
Right? We have to figure this out before the episode ends.
Where's the
baby? I'm gonna keep Hashtag where is the baby? Okay. But anyway, to sum it all up, there was a leak of a drafted document. I'm done talking about the history, by the way. There was a leak of a drafted document that showed that the Supreme Court is in the works of overturning this ruling. I kind of read some articles that said the draft was confirmed to be real, but don't assume that this has like an effect on the final decision. Like, this wasn't everyone's opinion. Like, these type of documents are like never supposed to see, like, we aren't ever supposed to see these types of things. And I'm just like, oh, okay, who leaked
government
this?
Messy.
This is very messy.
Real messy.
Wow. Very messy.
Sus. Okay.
But yeah, so it had everybody shook when it leaked, first of all.
No, really.
So I'm very curious, before I get into how I feel, how do you feel about Roe versus Wade possibly being overturned?
Girl, it just seems like a lot. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to feel because, well, first off, I am not like in tune with everything, like with the news and all of what's going on. So honestly, like, I'm just scrolling on TikTok and I keep hearing people reference it, but I wasn't 100% sure of what all was going on until probably nowish. Like context clues, I kind of figured out some parts, but yeah, up until now, I wasn't 100% sure of all of what was going on. So, I mean, now that I kind of know, yeah, they are. It seems like they may be considering changing this. Honestly, I don't. It makes me uncomfortable to know that is like. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable knowing that that's something that could change. I think it is important for people to have that option. Whether I believe it's okay to do or not, I think it is important to have the option. Really.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that sentiment. And my number one question with all of this is, so if that happens, what does it really mean? Like, what does this all mean? Because it's like, okay, so if people don't have access to that type of healthcare, what does that mean for those people? Because it's like abortions are not going to stop just because they're no longer legal.
That's, yeah.
Because they were happening before it was legal. They're happening now, and they're going to continue to happen if that rule is overturned.
That's a scary thought.
It's a very scary thought.
It's putting people's lives in danger, for sure. That's what I'm getting from that. That's scary.
For sure. And then I feel like laws like this specifically, they harm Black and brown people the most. Because a lot of Black and brown people don't have as much access to, certain types of healthcare or, the best healthcare. So it's like they would be the ones more likely to be getting those, backdoor, back alley type abortions. And that can lead to, so many health risks, death. Yeah. So that's just a scary thought that a lot of disenfranchised people would be at risk. Another thing I thought about is like, what does that mean? Like, are they going to start going after other things as well? Like, what does that mean for birth control? Like, are they going to try to go after that?
What's next? What is this? The Handmaid's Tale? Like, that's what it feels like.
Even though I've never seen it.
It's all real. But you know the premise?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I know the big picture.
Yeah.
The dystopia.
They started controlling women's lives.
Dystopian.
It started
society.
like this, honestly. Yeah.
Like this. Now I feel like I need to watch it to see what the possible future could be.
Yeah, it started like this first. Spoiler alert. I mean, anyway, so it started like this.
It came out like 10 years ago.
That's why I'm like, you'll be okay. yeah, this was like the start of it. Oh, they were thinking about overturning laws, and then all of a sudden they were like, women can't have bank accounts, and then they were like, women can't. It started with like abortion. Oh, and then there was like a lot of people, a lot of women were starting to, what is it called? They couldn't have kids. Like a vast majority of the women on the earth could not have children. So then they started banning birth control and all of that, of course. And then they started, how long? But yeah, it anyway. So it like just kept snowballing into women don't have rights and all of that. So it's actually a good watch. You guys should watch it. But yeah.
Okay, I might add that to my list just to
Yeah.
so I can keep a lookout for what is possible to come. Hopefully not though. Fingers crossed.
Boy.
Yeah, so I'm very concerned about what could happen next if they do decide to overturn this law, because yeah, I feel like I lost my train of thought actually.
I mean, also like some of the theories like that are, or like the conspiracy theories and things like, and the conversations that are on TikTok about it, girl. So like there's one where people were saying if you have a period app, delete that, because
you know what, I did just see that.
Yeah, and they were saying essentially that if you have that, it's tracking your period, and they something about, I don't know if they confirmed or not, they said something about it could be sold to the government and they can use that in trials to say like, oh, it looks like you didn't get your period, and this can be used as charges against you for if you are getting an abortion, we can kind of find out that you're lying about it. That's kind of scary.
I could definitely see that happening, like them getting a subpoena of your flow chart.
Yeah. A mess.
A mess.
Yeah. And then also there's like another conversation about why it's so important to them to overturn these type of laws and why they're even paying attention to it, because they don't care. Like, let's be real. The government does not care about whether or not we have kids. They don't care. Do they?
That brings up a great point. That brings up a great point, because they say the number one goal, this is the number one goal that I hear all the time, is to stop abortions, is to save the fetus. But it's like, okay, you saved the fetus, but would you actually care about these children when they're born?
No,
they
don't care. They don't care about the kids that are here. So the theory is that because white women are like the number, like they make up 60% of the abortions, they're trying to save the white race, is the theory. Because they're starting to become white, they're becoming the minority is essentially what's going on. They don't want them to become the minority. They don't want it to turn into like mess up the society that they have. So that's one theory. Now, whether or not these are true, guys, we don't know. But we don't know. That's just what's out there. We didn't fact check, of course. Right. That's just what's out there. Right. People are saying delete that period app. People are saying they're trying to save the white lives. That's what's going on.
White lives matter.
Apparently.
Hashtag white lives matter.
Yes. They don't have anybody to pass all that land down, all the money down to, so they might as well work on them reparations.
I was like,
we'll take it. We'll take it. It was ours anyway. Yeah.
Yes, the indigenous peoples.
Okay. But yeah.
Now we both but yang.
But yeah, that's our official transition, guys. But yeah. I'm gonna make a sound, a voiceover.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, I like it. I like it. Another thing is, it's like, I feel like this is like a human rights issue when you think about it, because it's like, they want people to have the right to choose when it comes to other things. People are fighting for the right to choose if they want to wear a mask or not. People want the right to choose if, what's another one? Give me another one.
Girl,
if they want to get vaccinated or not.
Yes. Now it's all they want to storm the Capitol so they have the right to choose. These the same people though saying, let's save the fetus. Like, come on.
And it's like, I feel like it's perfectly fine. Like, if you don't believe in having an abortion, don't get one.
That's fine. But it's kind of like everybody's business should be their own. That's all I'm saying.
Because not everyone in America is Christian, first of all. So it's like people whose religion does not, it's not stated in their religion that's like against against their religion. It's like, why are you holding them to the standards of the Christian religion when this is supposed to be like a free country? People can practice whatever they want to practice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, it's not about religion. I don't believe it. They can't convince me. They just can't. I mean, the only thing that is almost making sense is the white lives.
The White Lives Matter.
That's all.
That should be the name of the episode. White Lives Matter.
Boy. They would take us down. No, they probably would not. That would be our number one episode.
Right.
It's terrible.
But yeah, it doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. And I don't think the government should have the right to take that choice away. And I feel like that is what the Republican Party usually stands on. They don't like a lot of government interference. So I want to know, if anyone has the answer, what is the reason? What is the reason? Why do they want so much control over women's bodies? Why?
Girl, they are trying to stay the majority. No, I'm not going to keep pushing that because I don't know, but it's probable.
I think it's because
the math is mathing.
Women, I think it's because women are so powerful. I think women are powerful beings. Our womb is powerful, and the government likes power. They want control over that power. Yeah. But I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah,
I feel like you always follow money and power and you will find the answer.
This is true. They need numbers for capitalism to work. That's another thing. If it's not enough people are having kids, the birth rate is not the same, not as many teenage pregnancies. More people are waiting until later in life to have children. The birth rate is down. And it's a pandemic. Some people just are not trying to bring people into this world when it's this chaotic. So, and then, girl, they need the numbers for capitalism. You need a large bottom for the pyramid to, you know what I'm saying? The bottom, all the people, all the poor people have to be plentiful in order for there to be people up top, You need
that
a base.
Makes sense. I'm curious to see the numbers, like to see the birth rate numbers. I need a graph. I got to pull up a graph.
What's it looking like?
Right. So I pulled up the graph of the birth rates, and I find it very interesting. So it seems like the birth rates have kind of leveled out, but the huge decrease happened from like 1959 to 1979. It was like a decrease from, I actually can't read these numbers. I don't know what these numbers mean. So, but it was a huge decrease from 1959 to 1979. But in recent years, so I'd say between 2018 and now, it was a huge jump. So basically the pandemic.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I mean, people didn't have anything better to do, right? Everyone was stuck at home and making babies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
pandemic babies.
Right. And I'm actually seeing projections of the birth rate, and it seems to be like kind of steady, kind of level, like there
Mhm.
aren't any like huge jumps or dips. So it's like the theory of them needing more bodies, it's like, is it true? It could be, they could need more than what it's projecting. So I don't know.
I mean, when you think about I honestly, it would make sense though, because you think about how many people have died because there was an entire pandemic. Like, yeah, we had more births, but numbers were wiped out. So I don't know.
But it's like, were those people the people who were wiped out? I feel like a lot of them were immunocompromised to begin with. It's like, were they people who were really like out here working and providing capitalism what it needed?
I could see that, yeah. Because when you think about like immunocompromised, it could be somebody that has like diabetes, they still work, people that are like, I don't know, like asthma, things like that, they still working. So I don't know.
I don't know. Because I always have this theory that there's too many people in the world and they're trying to get rid of people. Because there's not enough resources. But who knows?
That could be it too. It probably started off with that, and then they were like, we did too many. Let's mess
They're
with
always causing problems and then trying to fix it. Just stop.
Yes. No, but I play too much. The theories are just.
I mean, no, that is humans. There's literally no problems, but then they create problems, and then they have to fix the problems that they created. Man. So I mean, it's possible.
Just leave.
I said they as if I'm not a human, but yeah, we have to fix problems that we created. But we can go ahead and transition from this topic to our letters.
Here we go with that. But yeah.
We're gonna transition to the letter. Let's say we have a letter today from, what are we gonna call her? Kendra?
Kendra.
Kendra. I love the name Kendra, by the way, because that is the name of one of my favorite Playboy bunnies. Did you used to watch that show?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. If you know, you know. But let's read the letter.
Okay. It was a show? Okay.
Yes, we can talk about it later. So the title of this letter is It Racism? It goes, I am a mid to late 20-something, and I just landed my first big girl job. I run a whole facility, and I'm in charge of a lot of people. Everyone I'm in charge of is older than I am. That doesn't matter to me, though. I do my job, and I do it well. The problem is, whenever I handle anything, I'm always met with surprise and shock on how well-spoken I am and how good of a job I'm doing. It's honestly insulting. It's like the higher ups are trying to figure out how a young Black girl can do what I'm doing, when in my mind, I'm just doing my job. I figure my age comes into play because I doubt the average girl my age could handle running a facility. However, I can't help but to think my race comes into play as well. I've heard the owners make comments and judgments of people based on their race and where they live. What would make me any different? Is it racism, or am I getting this one wrong?
Girl, I don't know if you're getting that wrong. If they are blatantly just coming right out, just openly making comments about, about people, like in the bit, I don't know what all you do, but if, you guys are getting customers or whatever it is, and they're making comments about them, so it's like you already know how they think at that point. So it's like, man, if you think that about them, clearly you probably have some thoughts about me too. Like, right. I don't think it's racism. It sounds like you're gonna have to put your foot down, and if they keep meeting you with that type of energy, I feel like something could be said there. But is it racism? Probably.
it's like, you know, it's like those little microaggressions. It's like
Yep.
they don't actually come out and they're not saying anything super
Mm-hmm.
overtly racist, but it's like those little things. And I see that it says it might be your age too, because you are young. I feel like being young
Mm-hmm.
and Black and being in charge, it probably all plays a part. But it's like they hired you, so it's like, why are they so surprised?
Yeah, that's what makes it awkward. It's like, okay, so you put me in this position, so you put some trust in me, but at the same time, they still have their preconceived notions, is what it sounds like. So, I mean, that makes it harder to feel like you are doing a good job and to feel confident in what you have going on when you can tell like they're doing certain things to like undermine you or even to make you feel like you are like to make it to say things like to make it seem like they're surprised you're doing a good job. Like that's what you hired me for. Don't act like you
Like,
expected me
don't do
to do
me.
anything else, you know?
That's crazy. That's really crazy. There is a such thing as having terrible bosses and terrible managers. It's actually more common
Mm-hmm.
than what people like to admit, I guess, because I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have terrible jobs more than they have good ones. So
And it's
seriously,
there's so many terrible people out here. A lot
so
of them
many
are
terrible
prone to be
people.
bosses. So I mean it's just easy. It's a given.
It's a given. Um, but it does seem like you see what type of people that they are, and you
Mm-hmm.
might just have to make that decision. Like, if you know
Mm-hmm.
who they are, is that the type of environment that you want? Or if you feel like it can be salvaged, like you said, Morgan, like maybe you
Yeah.
could say something, but if you
Yeah.
say something and it still doesn't change, then you could make that decision.
Yeah. I mean, you can always like go to HR or, but that always feels, I don't know. It just, yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
HR is always in the interest of the company, and they're the owners,
that's
so
true.
I don't think it would help.
I mean, I guess have your stuff lined up. I mean, I think it's really like first off to address what you said, like are you getting that wrong? Is it microaggression? Is it, like racism? I don't think so. I doubt it. And then women's intuition, we are typically correct. Like your instincts are usually right. The change in energy, change in vibe, you usually feel it and it's usually correct. Like now it
Right,
could
you didn't
have, like
like
you
it.
said, yeah, if you didn't like it,
Yeah,
then
that's good enough reason to say
it's
something.
enough. Exactly. Yeah, so I don't think you're getting it wrong at all there. I think that it may be worth it to say something if you feel like yeah, I think it may be worth if it's like specific people. I mean, like keep in mind, so they hired you, they expected you to do a good job. So it may be worth saying something initially. And if the environment becomes toxic, if you feel like it's getting to the point where you can't take it, do not feel tied to that job. Like
Nope, nope, nope.
we be tied to these jobs, don't feel tied to that job.
Because they are
Get your
not
little
tied to you.
experience, map out your plan if you want to be there for like another few months or whatever. Like map it out and make sure you have plans to leave if needed.
Yes,
Period.
ma'am. Period.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, girl, you're not getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Thanks for your letter, Kendra. If anybody else has anything they want to share with us or any questions that they want to ask, please send it to gettingitrongpod@gmail.com.
Okay. That's right. We want to hear from you guys. Yeah,
Yes, we want to talk to you guys. Talk to us.
yeah.
You guys can, if you have anything you want to add to this letter, any advice you want to give her, you can comment on our YouTube page. You can comment on our Spotify or talk to us on Twitter, Instagram. Just hit us up.
That's right. Yeah, that's it though.
Yeah, and that's all that we have.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Please don't forget to like, download, subscribe, rate the Getting It Wrong podcast. If you have any questions you want to send to us, you can send it to gettingitwrongpod@gmail.com. And you can follow us on social media too. Our IG is @gettingitwrongpod. Our Twitter is @gettingit_wrong. And you can follow us on Facebook as well. We're everywhere. We really appreciate you guys doing that, because if you like us, that helps other people find us and like us too. Talk to you guys later. Bye.